Our purpose in life is to seek knowledge every single day, then turn around and pass the torch of knowledge on to someone else. If you want to leave a legacy, seek knowledge and pass the torch. On today's episode of Pass the Torch podcast, we have Vera and Apollonia Ward. Both sisters were born and raised in King George, Virginia, and attended King George County Public Schools. Apollonia studied mechanical engineering at Virginia Tech, and Vera studied biology and economics at Virginia Commonwealth University. Naturally, Vera, the company both sisters created to educate consumers with scientifically proven hair care knowledge and provide a product line that would in turn yield realistic and desired growth and health goals for the hair and scalp. By providing excellent customer service, delivering information that is both scientifically proven and backed with integrity, top quality products, efficient business handling, affordable prices, and most of all, honesty, Naturally, Vera LLC aspires to become a household name that takes the hair care industry by storm. We are incredibly lucky today to have Vera and Apollonia Ward on Pass the Torch podcast. I hope you brought your torches because things are about to heat up. All right, we are on another episode of Pass the Torch podcast. Today we have Vera and Apollonia. Thank you so much for being on Pass the Torch podcast and welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. The first question that I always ask every single guest, and this is pretty cool because this is the first time that I've been able to record and get it out, having two guests on the show. So this is different for people seeing the video for the first time. It can go in any order, just however you want to do it, and you can answer both of you can answer the questions as I ask. But the question that I ask every guest is what is your why for the journey that you're on right now? What got you started on this path, and what keeps you motivated to continue down it?
For me personally, I feel like I have always known that I wanted to be something more. And I've always had that passion and that drive personally. That's a goal of mine, to always self-improve. So to be able to have an opportunity like this and to go into business for ourselves, it fuels my passion to continue to go. Every time we hit a goal, it's always what's next. It's not really something that we stay in the moment of. So my passion for going forward is really what drives me.
Love it. Apollonia, how about you?
So for me, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to be in control of it. So it wasn't like, oh, I know that when I grow up, we're going to be entrepreneurs in the beauty industry. Yeah. It was just going to be entrepreneurs, period. Because I don't know, I guess I feel like the basic, go to school, get a job, get good grades, all that kind of stuff. That's all great. But I'm starting to see more and more that it's not enough. So to be passionate about what you do, it doesn't feel like you're working. And, people always ask oh, when do you sleep or whatever? And I've finally gotten to a point in my life that I don't want to go to sleep because I'm doing everything that I love. And the one thing that I don't do that I don't love, I do at least like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your company called? I Naturally Vera, am I getting the name right?
Yes, Naturally Vera.
And where does first of all, I love that name. And I assume it's related to Vera. What was the motivation behind the name?
So at first, I just wanted to make sure that it was something simple and easy that was relatable. And of course, when you're thinking of a business, it's almost like your baby. So from the start, I knew it was going to have my name in it some type of way. I feel like everybody starts out with that when they're thinking of how they're going to name their business. And at first we were going to do simply Vera, but it was very close to another line that was already out. Vera Wang has a line. It happens to be a clothing line, but it was going to be mixed up with other, brands. So we went ahead and I was thinking, well, it's natural hair care. So naturally Vera, and it just stuck and we roll with it.
Love that. Talk to us about what does natural hair care mean? So for a lot of us who are watching this, we know exactly what that means, and I won't go too deep into it, but I know there's a certain demographic that is like, what is she talking about? So please tell us what that means.
So for natural hair care, what we're talking about when we say natural hair care is just loving the hair that you were born with. So you don't have to do a bunch of things in order to conform to what you see on television or what you think society wants. You can love your hair just the way that it is. And it's better for you to take care of your hair in that way because you'll have the optimal health. So for us, natural hair is anything that is not treated by chemicals or, it's chemically altered at all. So that's natural hair for us. So whatever grows out of your head, that's what we want to get you to embrace and we want to help you manage.
Oh, wow, I love that. That's even better than what I thought. What I thought I meant. So that's really cool. My next question is, how did both of you and Apollonia start into the business together, and how is that experience? How's that journey together?
So it's actually really interesting. I was in college out at Virginia Tech and she decided to start.
Explain
it. What'd you say?
I said, I think you should explain this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I was in college out at Virginia Tech, and this girl, I'm telling you, she will buy anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't care how much it costs, like nothing. So when I would come home from school, we shared a bathroom, and the whole bottom of the sink, the cabinets were just full of products.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't find anything that I like. I'm having this dandruff issue. I'm watching a movie to detangle my hair so it doesn't get, turn into dreads. It was just getting out of hand. And I remember one specific product she bought was some guy off YouTube. It smelled like a bottle of alcohol, literally.
Wow. Yeah.
And once you get on a tangent, it's like you get desperate, like you have to find something that works. So eventually, I think after seeing that product in particular, she was like, you know what? If he can do this, so can I. Yeah. So she starts formulating products and everything. And I was home for Christmas break. And she was just like, here, take this back with you. And then by like the next Christmas break, she was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I think I got what I want it to be. She's gotten the feedback that she needs. Different people have tried it just, by accident and loved it. So I'm like, well, we can't make it out of the kitchen. So then we start doing the business part. So, Christmas break goes by fast. And she was like, what if you don't go back to school? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm a junior. I'm about to graduate. And I was like, all right. And she was like, if you don't go back, I'm telling you, you won't need to. She was right. Here we are this many years later. So I was like, well, let me try to get a job where I said I was going to get a job after I graduate, and got a job there. And we started building the business from the ground up, but we had to be together to do it. And it's been worth it.
I love that. How is it being in business with family? A lot of people say it can have amazing benefits, and other people say stay away from it. And I'm in business with family too, so I have a perspective on this, but I'm definitely curious about your thoughts.
We have a contract.
Oh, what?
Yes, we have a contract.
Yeah.
If we don't agree how decisions are made, if we want to dissolve the business, if we want to add new people to the business, we are in contract with each other, because what you say doesn't matter in court unless you have a contract. So if we don't agree on something and it's two of us, we don't have a tiebreaker. So those things we put into place while the lab was, doing their part at mass producing the products. So we handled the business side while the lab was fine tuning the product. But I don't know why people are so scared of contracts. They're there to protect you. So that's the first thing that you should do. So, I mean, you have a twin brother.
Right.
If you guys were going to go into business together, I would tell y'all to get a contract. I would tell my own kids to get a contract with me. That's how you guarantee what you deserve and what you were promised. And then you don't have to make any mistakes because it's in black and white.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I would probably never be able to go in the business with Lorenzo because we can only be around each other for 24 hours at max. But no, I love him to death. But yeah, but contract, that makes perfect sense. And a lot of it, I mean, communication, right? Like making sure you're both on the same page as you're moving through different campaigns, strategic goals, and things like that. And I mean, that's kind of the same thing you would want to do in a family anyway. So I see that. Yeah, exactly. I'm not necessarily afraid of being in business with family either. And I think there's actually a lot of benefits, especially in the world today. I talked to my cousin about this, but a lot of other, you know what, I'll just be real with it. A lot of other races, they're in business with each other, and I'm not seeing that as much in the other communities. But I think there's an untapped potential and an ability to build this generational wealth and generational knowledge that's only possible if families start to get into business for themselves. So I think that's awesome.
I think that we really take for granted the skill sets of the people around us. Yeah. And even just think about just being from a small town like King George. You lived there for quite some time.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to believe that people go and do these great things, right? Mm-hmm. It's like some people like feel like they're stuck there when others choose to be there because it's a great place to live. So if you are feeling more stuck than feeling like you have a choice, you don't want to believe that somebody right beside you had the same situation as you and turned it into roses, you know? So sometimes your best business partner shared a room with you, you know? Look at how many college roommates grow up and end up being in business together. So it's like my sister and I had the same parents, but we're totally different. But when you can, you know, make those skills work together to turn that into something great, who better to do it with than somebody that already knows you? They already know your habits. They know what your strengths are. You know what theirs are. They know where your weaknesses are, and they might be able to complement you better than anybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I personally think that you should also use your better judgment too, because although I'd love for my whole entire family to come aboard and do it all, I trust my sister. I don't trust everybody. Right. So while it's like, you know, go ahead, do the family thing. Yes, do it. But at the same time, no. If you have, like, let's say I had a brother, I do have a brother, but, you know, I love my brother. I trust my brother and everything like that. I would definitely bring him on if he wanted to be a part of what we're doing. But what if my brother was an underachiever, doesn't show up to his current job on time, doesn't care? I'm not bringing him on. Family is important, and I love my brother to death. But if he does not show and possess the qualities that I need for my business to succeed, he cannot be a part. If my sister did not show and possess the qualities that I needed in order for this business to be successful, she would not be a part. And she would probably be like, nah, I'm not trying to be a part of what you got going on. I'm not going to be of no help to you. But me and her work well together in general. Like, we do almost everything together. If anybody knows anything about me, it's her. I trust her. Mm-hmm. You can't trust everybody, you know? And that's how a lot of people get caught up too. They end up trusting everybody, thinking that they're going to have their best interests at heart. But you have to remember, who is the person? You will never be surprised if you expect for them to be who they are from the start. So yes and no. Yes, it can work, but you need to know, like you said, you know, you and your brother will not be able to do it 24 hours. Mm-mm. Over this Christmas holiday season, I have been at her house more than I've been at my own, just making sure this business stuff works. Like, if you're going to get annoyed and you can't stay with them, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Don't find you a friend, somebody you don't know.
Another thing that I wanted to kind of bring up is just like, maybe even a little example. You know how people are like really upset with Jeff Bezos about how much his employees make?
Mhm.
People, count your money. If me and my sister made 10 million, you have family members that feel like they should have $10 million too, because they were there with you, even though they didn't do
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
to get you to, they might have a task,
Mhm.
and they've agreed to be paid that amount to perform that task. But then they start counting your money too. So, you really gotta, like she said, use your better judgment on who it is that you do it with, because people get entitled, especially family. So you gotta watch that. My kids, I already told them, we don't owe y'all anything.
Ah,
If you want to be a part of this company,
yeah.
you have to be an asset to us. You don't just inherit this. I'll hire a stranger before I hire my kids if my kids aren't doing right.
Wow. 100% though. Yeah. I love that. No, what we just talked about was definitely that was like valuable knowledge, and that's something that I definitely want to continue to make sure people are having the conversation with. Like, yeah, uplift those around you, but they have to bring value to the table, and if they don't, then you got to move on. But it's just been amazing. I've been watching what you both have been doing with Naturally Vera, and it's awe-inspiring. I've been seeing the videos, the marketing, and it's awesome. And that's my feedback to you. And it's funny because kind of let me know your thoughts about this, but I haven't commented on every video. There might be even time where I really like your video and I'm just dumb and didn't like it. Like I didn't push the like button, but I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. So take that with a grain of salt and know that people are seeing what you're doing. They like what you're doing. Me specifically, and sometimes I need to give more feedback. But how is that? As you're trying to get Naturally Vera out there into the world and bring awareness to that, how do you feel that journey's going so far?
Well, in the future, when you
For
see something you
us,
like,
I think that I'm very,
Apple. Oh,
when you see
for
something you like in the
me,
future,
I
you make sure you press
feel
the share button.
I'm gonna share. I promise. I will
Okay.
do it.
You go ahead, Vera, but I had to just get that out.
That's good.
for me, as far as starting it out, I'm very skeptical.
Mhm.
That's just my personal, like, that's a part of my personality. I'm skeptical. So I always plan for the worst and
Yeah.
hope for the best. So when I first started it, I wanted to target our general area, but I also like where we're from and get the local support. But then I also wanted to branch out and find people who didn't know us as well, because it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
The people who you think are going to support you, I already know personally. I just put that out there in the atmosphere. They're not going to support you. So there are going to be people, the same people who would show up for anything else are going to show up for you for this.
Mhm.
So when you start out, you think, oh, my best friend could share, but they don't. So, it's like, okay, you speak to me in public and you are on my line. You want to know all about it. You want to do this, you want to do that. But then when it's time to support, a lot of people are not going to support you. We happen to be lucky
Yeah.
and we were able to get great community support. I mean, our community, our local area, they float our business. Like for the first 2 years, it was local orders for the most part. Like I would say maybe 75% were local orders. Like we could tell at one point if someone was a new customer or someone we didn't know, because the general area was really who were rocking with us hard. Then you have people who didn't like you at first, didn't like what you were doing, or didn't want to be a part of what you were doing or support it. And then they realized, oh, they're really not that bad of people. I'll go ahead and support. And then some don't want to support ever. And it's okay, because as long as you go into it knowing that, you can remain positive, because you can still give back to your community. You can say, it's okay. I understand that, you don't care for what we're doing. And that's
Absolutely.
fine. But we're still going to give back to our community. So overall, I think it's been a very positive experience. But you will notice after a while who are the people that are really supporting you and who are the people that are not. And for us, it's okay, because we are just like, if it had to be on a scale, the people who support us are tipping the scale. Like it's probably turned over right now. The amount of people trying to hold the other side down, they don't even count. Like some of them have actually jumped ship and went on the other side
Oh
because
wow.
it's
Yeah.
like we're doing this for our community. We love giving back to our community. We don't care who you are. So we want everyone to enjoy the gifts that our talents, we want you to enjoy it. Even if it's just, hey, can I get my hair done? Can you show us how to use it? We'll do anything that we can to help you. So it's really changed a lot of people. Like it's really crossed some people over to, I really don't care what they're doing because I don't see it really working out, to I believe in them. I like what they got going on. So if you remain positive, that support's going to be there.
And also, like the resources that it provides. Like, I know me and you have been friends for years, and we do like resume writing workshops and
Mhm.
things like that. So it's like when you go back and you do something that people need, even if your actual business doesn't do it, like that's when people start buying it for Christmas gifts. Like, you know what? I don't
Wow.
even have hair, but somebody that I know does. And I like them so much that I want to support their business. And a lot of people do it financially when I'm like, okay, you could just press the share button and that would help me because now I don't have to pay for advertising because you've expanded my reach for me.
Mhm.
So even something as simple as sharing or spreading the word, like word of mouth is so like I wish people could see how truly powerful word of mouth is. But by doing those little things that literally are genuine, come from the heart, like it makes people fall in love with you and everything that you touch, they want to be a part of. Vera just made a post. She was like, yeah, I think I'll make a face line. And it like blew up. Like
Mhm.
people were just like, oh my God, like, can I be a tester? Like everybody wants to be involved because I feel like they know it's going to circle back around to them
Mhm.
because we're not out here doing it to just get rich. Like, what's the point in getting all the success if you can't help anybody else or you have no desire to help anybody else? Like, what are you going to do? What if you get hit by a car and you die and you have all this money and you did nothing for anyone else? Your story ends right there. But somebody's gonna be like, you know what? That resume writing workshop that she did, I got my first job from that. Or I was able to change my career or get back in after I've been a stay at home mom for 8 years or whatever. Like, that's some stuff that never goes away. And that's the type of things that we've been enabled to do just by having this business and building this brand and having this name. Like, our local community, like everybody, people know us that we don't know, and they just speak to us, and we're friendly, so we're just like, oh, what's up? Everybody's a cousin.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just been crazy. It's mind blowing. I know I've never met a stranger.
I love that.
Yeah,
No.
the outpour of support is huge. We really are. We're grateful for the
Mhm.
amount of support we have. We happen to get off on the right foot, and it has a lot to do with the people who support us.
It's huge. I mean, I can just tell from definitely this conversation, but as I'm watching you do your thing and spreading the word and I mean, you both are authentic, and that comes out in your brand. That comes out in what you're doing. Like, it's there, and you can easily tell when people are being real and when they're being fake. And I can say that with the Naturally Vera brand and just both of your personalities, it's real, and that alone is gonna kill the competition or even companies that have maybe they have more money. But again, like that brand is everything, and as you continue, your brand's just going to continue to again, like what you're saying, it's going to have its own reputation and it's going to speak for itself. So, no, that's very cool.
Thank you. We check ourselves. We really do. We talk it over. So we did our 12 days of Christmas. We talk it over. We said we were going to give away one product per night,
Mm.
and we were going to switch it up every night. But then we were like, is it fair to have them come on? We're always thinking about our customers. Is it fair to have them come on two different platforms and
Mm.
only give away one product? So we
Mm.
sit down and we're like, no, that's not fair. Let's give away two. So we started giving away too. Like we always try to be as genuine and as giving as possible. And if we feel like we're telling you any information that we're not sure, we fact check ourselves. We make sure we know what we're talking about. And we don't want to lie to people. We don't want to keep them in the dark. And other business owners or people who are in general just trying to start businesses, reach out to us. We enjoy helping people in general. Our whole family's like that. So we got it honest, but it's really helped us connect with so many of our customers. And they just have so much love for us, and we're glad to know that it's mutual because we love them too. Like they support our dreams literally, and some of them don't even know us.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like people don't understand that magnitude of gratefulness that you have when someone sees what you see, and even if they don't, they'll still be there.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up is like we really that 12 days of Christmas, it was just huge for us. And we really played off of the energy that our customers are given. And I mean, one day, this girl, she reached out to me and she was like, what about your customers that don't have data to be on your lives? And I felt so bad. Like I felt like that was like a first world problem that I just never even acknowledged. Like, oh my God, not everybody has Wi-Fi. Yeah. So in the middle of the giveaway season, the 12 days that we were already doing, we did like a giveaway during the day for people who literally could not get on to participate. Because I'm like, why are we doing this if we can't reach everybody? Like the last thing we want to do is like single someone out, make them feel like, you know, we don't care or whatever. So we just made like a pseudo giveaway in the middle of the giveaway so everybody could benefit.
Yeah, being customer centric, especially to that extent, there's no way you're gonna fail. Like a lot of people, they try to be, product centric, which is absolutely not wrong. Or they try to be stakeholder centric, which is not wrong, but again,
kind of necessary.
Right, right. But if you're customer centric, I feel like you're gonna make sure the product's good and your stakeholders are gonna be taken care of. And so, just listening to you talk, like that's what your focus is. That's what Naturally Vera is about. And so product and stakeholders, they're going to be absolutely fine because you care that much about your customers.
We've had investors proposition us to provide large amounts of money in order to pour into our business to make it grow and, to do things. And I tell my sister all the time, I'm like, no, whoever is offering this, no, because we need total control. Because the more you have someone looking for profit and looking for a return on investment, the farther away you are from your customer service. And I'm like, we are here. I don't care if our market stays small. We're here to service the people. We are here to connect with you and to tell you the truth. I don't want someone to revamp our product, make us rich, and then make you have poor quality products. Because they'll take them, they'll say, everything that we've worked for, everything that we formulated, let's dumb it down to something that's going to give us a better bottom line. And I already know the game. I'm not trying to be a part of that. So every time they offer to do that for us, I'm like, no. And I was like, honestly, we're never selling the company to anybody. And I said, we're also never taking on investors, because if we can't get out here and work this 24 hours in a day, if Beyonce can do it, we can too. So I'm just like, no, we're not doing it. And she's like, I agree, because it'll take us away from what we initially wanted to do.
No, that's exactly right. Equity, investment, it's all code for control. So
yeah.
you're absolutely right. No, that's awesome, and that's admirable, and for you to be able to keep control of it and really build it into what you want, like that's everyone's dream. Everyone can't do that, and the fact that you're like, hey, we're in it for the long haul, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know is that we believed in this so much that we fully funded and invested in this product. Our company is debt free. That is unheard of. Like the level of investment that you have to make to actually even get started and then to pay yourself back and to do it as quickly as we did. Like that speaks volumes on our customers. They believe in us. So what will we look like not giving them a return on their investment into us?
Absolutely.
Our dream doesn't work without them. So we owe them the best quality that we can give.
I love it. What was the most favorite thing that you accomplished in 2018 as we transition in 2019?
Mine was the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, if you knew how that thing came together. So Vera calls me, right? And she was like, I think we should do a 12 days of Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you got to start that on December 1st, right? What was it, November 29th, 30th? I was like, all right, we'll be here tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
That's it.
and we figured it out. I mean, we winged it. It was probably the most, we were busy as I don't know what. Like, I don't remember sleeping, but it was the most successful thing. And just like, I think that was like an aha moment of how much people really supported us, knew who we were, that we didn't even know knew we existed. And it has just not slowed down. So that probably be my favorite. And just hitting the 3-year mark, like,
Yeah.
you could fail in the first year.
Yeah.
So to get to year 3 is like major.
That's huge. How about you, Vera?
Yeah, I agree. I think the 12 days of Christmas was amazing. Like, just giving in general is something that we're big on. And to be able to give back to our customers, like, I was excited. Like, I didn't go home. We were getting to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we have our regular jobs. I'm getting right back up. I have to be at work by 7 o'clock. I'm on the road, on the way to work, but we're excited about what's about to happen this evening when we get to connect with so many people. Like, I enjoy answering the questions. We tell them, even if you can't buy our products, ask us questions. We are here to help with your hair journey, because with the African American stigma that's around hair,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't understand how many women don't feel beautiful with the hair that they were given, because there's so much going on and there's so much influence that we get to actually solve a problem that you have. And then the more you get to see your curl pattern, the more you get to see a girl that looks like you, who's beautiful, and you love her hair. And then you find out that her hair looks just like yours, or you can achieve that style too, just with better products and more practice, and maybe a tip or trick that we can provide you. Like, that's major for me. I remember when I was a little girl, and my mom, she doesn't have hair like ours. So she would always do our hair in like braids or something like that to just make sure that it looked nice and neat.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted a relaxer like the rest of the girls so bad. And she didn't understand. She didn't care. She's like, "You're not getting a relaxer. I'm not doing it. You're going to get these little kitty braids until I say so." I wanted my hair to be long and pretty and straight, just like the rest of those girls. And I never got that as a child. So I always felt inferior to other girls. So I'm like, I don't want another little girl to feel like this. Like, they're like, "Oh, your hair's so beautiful. It's so long." And I'm like, but you don't know how I feel. So it's not the same. So for me to be able to know that my niece has never had to care or worry about getting in a salon chair, feeling like she doesn't look like the rest of them, or having her head hurting, trying to achieve a style that's not necessary for her hair type. Like, for her to never have to deal with that, and to feel like curls are great, like straight hair is great. I can do either or. I think that that's amazing. That's what we really want to push and drive home to people. And a lot of women and mothers out there, they buy the products for their daughters. They don't care what their hair looks like. They'll make that sacrifice for their daughters. So that's the part that I really enjoy about it.
That's awesome. I love that. So we're gonna take it deep real quick and go to something that you've definitely hit success, but we're gonna ask the question of, what was a time in Naturally Vera where you hit an obstacle or you had a failure, and just tell us what that was like and how you got through it.
Well, I mean, honestly, there's plenty of them. They're just behind the scenes.
Yeah.
People don't see them. We had goals that we wanted to achieve. We had a timeline, and we thought that influencers, like the beauty influencers and things like that, we were like, okay, we'll hit up a bunch of them, we'll pay, and we'll get our name out there. They do not provide return on investment. They do not. And we learned that early on, thank God. But, we spent some of our budget on influencers, and it wasn't worth it to us. Like, we could pay you and we'll give you free products, because of course, in order for you to do it, you have to try the product. So we're shipping you out free product and we're paying you to do this in-depth review. You have 50,000 followers and subscribers, or whatever the case may be, sometimes 300,000, and we might get one order from you. We're doing better by ourselves. So we had to learn that. That was a part of our plan. Yeah. And we had to revamp our entire plan. It was like, oh my God. Like, that was something that we were banking on to do us a justice, and it didn't. And that was a big one for us. And we just was like, okay, what's next? We're very big on solutions, so we can move past things pretty quickly. Another thing that I think is big that you don't think about, being everyone's friend. We're nice people in general, but when you're talking business, your graphic designer needs to be your graphic designer. I know they want to be friends with you. They think you're nice people and all that, but they'll start slacking on you. They'll forget to do stuff on time. Like, we guarantee things to people. We want to make sure that our customers are satisfied. So just dealing with other contracting type deals a lot of the times are the most frustrating for us because they don't care about their business enough, and then we have to feel the negative impacts on them not getting us things that we need in time. Bigger companies, they're pretty good, but trying to work with smaller companies and trying to work with your own race sometimes is very difficult. I'm sorry to say, but they are the ones that give us the most problems. And we always try to work with them as much as possible. The lab that we were going to go with was Black owned, but he did not want us. He tried to put us in another direction. He wanted us to buy what he already had made. He didn't want us to have a private label. So sometimes they're the ones that will end up kicking you in the butt first, and it hurts, and you have to start all over again. And this is your baby.
Absolutely.
What about you, Apple?
The influencer one, like, I'm mad thinking about it all over again. Like, I don't even want to talk to it. Like, some of them, like, when I see them, I just want to square up with them. I'm not even joking. But I can't do that because I'll lose my clearance. But it's like, it's so frustrating because people don't care about your brand the way that you do. And even, I'll just give you a simple example. You know what I hate the most? And I'm just going to put it out there. And I know this is going to get shared on social media. But if you see somebody's hair looking crazy and then you go in the comments and you'll be like, oh, they probably use @naturallywera, LOL. I don't think that's funny. It's not you funny. Better send that to my messages. Like, I will fight you. This is my business that you are talking about. And you're trying to crack a joke that the whole world might see and might really take your dumb self seriously. Like that, I'm already mad thinking about it. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. But I mean, people like to play. There's a time for work and there's a time for play.
I'm excited.
But never is that when it's got something to do with the business. You want to play with me? You better send me a text message. Like,
I'm excited about that though. The fact that someone thought enough to comment that, like that, when you start having haters like that, you're going in the right direction. You're moving in the right direction. Haters? Yeah, I mean that's what they are. They're haters. They're like, oh, that's naturally Vera. That means that this person either is jealous or they don't have. I mean, they took. Yeah,
it's a bit of truth behind every little joke.
The time and energy to do that. So that's for me. It should be frustrating. It is frustrating because it's your baby, right? But like. That kind of excites me a little bit. And that's the same thing for Mentorch. When people, like one of my closest friends, they were like, oh, your little thing. And I was like, man, you're like my friend.
That's so rude.
Yeah, your little thing. And I was like.
Now, I would have hit block.
I was like, what? Never. Anytime someone says something in little with something you're involved in, that's just they're trying to minimize what you're doing. So no. You're in the right direction. You start getting that, but I mean, that just means people are seeing what you're doing, and honestly, and it's not what you're trying to do, right? But they feel small, and this is a real thing. This is why we talked about. It's interesting, especially on social media, where there's a circle, right? And your closest circle, none of them are liking or sharing, and sometimes I'm even included in that, and I'm trying to change that because I'm aware of it now. But like people you don't know are your biggest supporters, and your family and closest friends are not supporting it. And you're like, this is super interesting, but it's this phenomenon. And the bigger you grow, the more that intensifies. So
I've realized that the biggest thing with that has to be, I have a friend and her name is Tiffany. And Tiffany supports our business. Tiffany came to the first thing that we've ever done. She brought us cupcakes. She had our cupcakes personalized. She found our logo, got a company to put the logo on the cupcakes, and was just like, I'm proud of you guys. Like, this is so amazing what you're doing. I'm inspired by what you're doing. And she wants to go into business for herself. She had every opportunity to be a hater. But guess what she did instead? She
Support.
realized that she has the potential of doing this too. And what we're doing isn't going to stop her from being able to do it. And I think that's the difference between a hater and a supporter, honestly. One person knows that just because you're doing it, there's still room for them. They can still create their dreams no matter what it is. They can work hard just like you did, and they can make it happen. So we bounce ideas off of each other's heads all the time. Sometimes it's 6 o'clock in the morning and she's like, hey girl, I want to know how much does this cost if I'm going to do it? Give me a ballpark estimate. I'm trying to come up with some numbers so that I can get my stuff together. Or I'll say, hey girl, where did you get this done at when you were getting this done? And we just bounce ideas off each other's head. I'm not holding nothing back from her. She's not holding nothing back from me. But then you have someone who is like, I see you doing it. I'm not going to ask you if you need help. I'm not going to ask you anything. I'm going to pretend like you don't matter and you don't exist. Or I'm going to shade you in your face and be like, yeah, so and so, his hair is just all over the place. I told them, girl, they better try Shea Moisture or something. And am I not the one you're talking to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not even going to suggest, like, why don't you give my friend's product a try? Like, they don't even do that. So you have people who just do not see the opportunity for themselves. So they want to block every single piece that you have. And that's okay, because that's their journey and that's their life. And it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing. But I've noticed that that's the big difference. It's how you feel personally. You reflect that outward on everybody else. And she has every opportunity to be a hater, and she chooses to support us, and we support her back 100%.
Exactly. No,
When we
that's
first
exactly it.
when we first got started, we didn't even have the products back yet from the lab. Our dad met up with us in the kitchen. I'll never forget. Me and Vera lived together because we were trying to save money to invest in the product. So we lived together at first. And our dad came over. It was no special day or anything like that. And he was like, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Do not get offended when people do not support you. It has a lot more to do with them than it does to do with you. It is very hard when you have a small mind to grasp somebody else's big dream. Dreams are supposed to be scary. They're supposed to even feel impossible and unattainable. So when you have people that feel like simple things are that, how are they going to even be able to relate to what you have going on? So, before we ever even touched and saw this thing and, made it real, we were already forewarned. So I feel like that was like a gift from him. Like, hey, whatever it is, don't worry about it. Focus on what it is that you're trying to do and not what everybody else thinks, because their opinion of you and what you're doing is not your business. And I think that was just, even like a play on words. It's not your business and it's not your business.
I love it.
Like, it just,
Yeah.
it takes it to another level for you, because now you don't care. You don't take anything personal. And now you can focus on the people who do support you and give back to them. And even, in the giveaway, that's how you give back to the people that keep you going all year in the slow months and all that kind of stuff.
So that kind of brings me to my next question. Is this Mentorch and Pass the Torch podcast? It's all about mentorship. Who kind of mentored you through the process, whether it be not even business related or possibly even business related, of how to tackle this industry and make sure that you're taking the right steps?
So you can go ahead.
For us, honestly, with this being like basically uncharted land, like, who do you know personally that has actually developed a product line, a cosmetic line, and has gotten it this far to hook up with the lab to do something like this? Like, this wasn't even an industry that could be broken into on a small scale up until recently. So it's very hard to find someone to mentor you. We have, as far as mentors, we don't necessarily have a mentor. We have a lot of people who we meet on our path, and they do drop jewels and give us little bits of knowledge. The lab that we worked with, they were very helpful. The packing company that we worked with, they were very helpful in certain areas and aspects of moving forward with our business. But honestly, we have to get out there and we have to find things on our own. So a lot of what we do doesn't necessarily come from mentorship. We get a lot of unsolicited advice from people who don't have a business more than we do people who do have a business.
Yeah.
Just recently, I actually connected with the owner. She's the CEO of Inglot. It's a very major global, actually, cosmetic brand.
Mhm.
And she wanted to take us under her wing and show us the ropes and introduce us to people and link us with, other people in the hair care industry and just really help us expand our brand. That's been recently. We have had a mentorship in a gentleman who was an engineer at Rolls Royce. So he helped us with our business plan, just making sure that was right and things like that. So we have had those instances, but no one that's
Oh,
actually
hold on real quick.
Royce, and he helped us with our business plan. And Mr. Fry, he actually he asked us questions, like the hard questions. How are you planning on paying yourself? You have to start paying yourself at some point in time. You need to have, that under control. So things like that, we definitely had mentorship for.
Mhm.
But we reached out sometimes, and sometimes they reached out to us, and we've had those situations. But as far as mentorship, honestly, I think that we've been more mentors than we've had mentorship because we haven't had anyone to walk in footsteps that we know personally.
Yeah.
So at this point, we have really been helping a lot of people just bounce ideas off their heads, thinking about what they're going to do. We've been a part of a lot of people's startups and just getting them to the point where, at least to where we are, so we can say, here's the blueprint for what we've been doing. If you want to follow suit, we know it works. So this is the best that we have. So we've been more mentors than we've actually had mentorship, but we're researchers at heart. Like, I'm not waiting to ask someone a question because I want to know it for myself. Like, I
Gotcha.
have to obsess myself in the topic in order for me to come up with an answer. So me asking someone, hey, how do you do this? I'm going to take that, but then I'm going to still go research it. I'm a fact checker. Like, I could never watch the news. I'd be online all day making sure that what they're talking about is right.
That makes sense.
I go down rabbit holes all the time. So it's nothing for me to research. And I'm really patient about saving money.
Mhm.
So I will just sit on there until I get what I want. And I'm nice about it. So they can't just blow me off.
That's it. So you think you have the same mindset about mentorship as Vera?
Yeah, I would say so. And then, we were lucky enough to grow up in a household of entrepreneurs. Like our dad was a mechanic,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
got his own shop. Our granddad was a concrete finisher. So like I think that they indirectly mentored us because the thing about growing up around entrepreneurs is it's possible. So
Oh.
we didn't go through those, oh my God, this risk, because our households were supported off of that. So it's possible already. So you really don't look for that if it's not unseen. It's something that you've seen every day and never even paid attention to. Like, wait a minute, they ran their own business. And I saw my mama at the table running the numbers for the concrete business. And I saw my uncles coming over and the whole family working together to make sure that the business worked.
Mhm.
And, deciding to buy new tools and equipment and stuff like that. And even just being there playing in the other room, you hear what's going on because you don't have anything else to worry about.
That's it.
So that actually was really beneficial to us. And also, as far as mentoring people, I'll help anybody. So if you ask me for something, like I really would not have, like it would have to be a situation where I really couldn't do it before I told you no. And that is a character flaw of mine.
Yeah.
So, we've been heavily involved in like helping other people build their businesses up. But I think maybe like the most important takeaway for like being a mentor versus being a mentee is that people don't realize your mentor is not a babysitter.
Mhm.
They are not going to keep checking on you and asking you questions. You have to seek them out. They're already busy, you know, working in their dream, making sure that their dream is successful. So as a mentee, you need to have something to offer them, and you need to be the one, you know, establishing and maintaining the communication, because this person is already where you want to be. So that's probably like one of the most important things that I've learned between being a mentor and being mentored.
Love it. No, that's definitely some fire jewels. Um, It's huge. I mean, and I'm watching y'all, and we have completely different companies and businesses. Like mine's a tech software, but I'm seeing how you're doing, and I'm like, man, I don't know how to do any of that. And realizing, like, I'm watching how y'all are doing it, and I'm like learning that model. I'm like, this is pretty cool because I would never be able to even understand the how do you market that? How do you uh, speak to your customers and things like that versus doing that on the tech side. So it's interesting, and I'm learning already just looking at your journey and observing from afar. And I I'm saying this on the recording, so you can hold me to it too. But I'm gonna figure out a way that like we can support each other. I'm definitely here. Glad that you're on the podcast. I want to share your story, share your journey, share naturally, Vera, with the people I know, and yeah, I know plenty of people who they might not even want to start a company, but they can learn from your example and just I mean exactly going out there having a vision and then executing on it. That alone is incredibly valuable, and you've already instilled that on me. So I want you to know that. Um,
Thank you. We
yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, as soon as you said tech business, I'm like, I know there's a way we can collaborate. I
Yeah,
have plenty of stuff for everybody to do.
yeah. We'll
I
figure it
think
out.
that one takeaway that, or one thing that people don't consider is when you want to start something and you don't have many resources, you don't think about the resources that you do have around you.
Hmm.
So we weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouths. And, we didn't just, oh, hey, someone give me a small loan of, $500,000 and let me start a business. We had to go out there and get it on our own. So what we actually did was we took opportunity at every angle of our lives. I worked at CVS, I worked at Sheets, I worked at Geico, I've, worked at these places. And instead of just making them dead end jobs, I listened. What do they do? How do they do it? What are I worked at Aldi, the grocery store. Like, where do you get your signage from? How are you doing it?
Yeah.
When you're teaching me how to sell to your customers, how can I use that to sell to my customers when I have a business? So I took very small pieces from every encounter that I've had, and I use that. So if you're thinking about opening up a company and you want a restaurant, go work at a restaurant. Go bust tables. You need to understand the inner workings of the industry that you want to be in. What better way to do it than to go get paid to do it, fund your dream, and learn the ropes? You can say, I don't want to do this at my company because I don't like the way that they do this. You can make those decisions and you can still have a livelihood outside of that. So I feel like we were very strategic in where we worked and what we could gain from each opportunity. You might look at it as, oh, it's just CVS. And why would you want to work there for $9 an hour? I learned how to upsell. That's what I did. They teach you how to upsell at CVS. So they have like little, things every month that they want you to sell to their customers. And they keep track of how many you actually did sell. I learned how to speak to people there, like literally saying hi. At first, they come in and I'll just look at them and they look at me. But you learn how to have a personality. They force you to be more outgoing. Just
Yeah.
simple things that you don't think of. So while you think that you need to wake up in the morning and just become this boss, you actually need to wake up in the morning and become a worker. Learn the job. You want the technical side first, then you'll get into the business side later. But you really need the technical side. And I was able to learn it for free, working for other people.
Boom.
You don't have to go to college. Go work for someone else. You'll learn how hard it is. You'll want to go to college,
Mhm.
but go work for someone else first. It is so important. Learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, and you have to really go and find the value and believe in whatever it is that you're doing. I used to have this motto: if I don't believe in what I'm doing, I'm walking up out of here immediately. I mean, I used to sell water heaters. Do you know how unattractive a water heater is? But you know what? In 1 month of working at that company, I made more sales in the 12 years of sales they had. Their Christmas bonus used to be like $150. It was a small company, like, 15 employees. The Christmas I worked there, they got $1,100 per employee. Like,
Wow.
I mean, I figured out, I was on the phone with those people. Like, I put myself in their shoes, like, oh my God, This person that woke up with a basement flooded. They got to buy a $3,000 water heater, and they didn't even know water heaters cost this much.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, what I would feel like if that happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have the insurances to take care of it. And I mean, just from that job, learning how to sell and be personable to customers. I even worked at the post office. Do you know where I'm at every day? The post office.
I love it.
Some of the people I worked with, they're still there. When they see
Yeah.
those Naturally Vera boxes, they make sure my stuff gets on the truck that day. The trucks get full at Christmas time.
Yeah.
You need a plug at the post office. Like, I mean, just everywhere that we've been, we can connect the dots, looking backwards, and see how that has been beneficial to this company.
That's huge. That's huge. That's it. It's being in the trenches, in the everyday grind. People don't want to humble themselves. They want to automatically be at the very top of the mountain, and that's
It's like a microwave solution to
yeah,
everything.
yeah. You have to start at the base of the mountain to get to the top. That's how it works. And once you're at the top, you're looking down exactly, connecting the dots, seeing like, man, each of those experiences, some of them good, and some of them maybe really, really horrible, but they shaped who you are, and now you're able to do everything you're able to do because you went through those trials and tribulations. You did the hard things. You did the things that weren't necessarily desirable, but were absolutely necessary. So
Yeah, and the climb is what people don't usually get to see.
Yeah.
So now you see Naturally Vera everything, but 3 years ago, you didn't.
no.
And I mean, but even just like building the product, so like I'm 29 now.
Mm-hmm.
We started this when Vera was 20 and I was 21. We've been doing this for 8 years. Like it's been a long time. Like just to get prepared and get the money together, the way that we wanted to start our business and try to be debt free and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was it, like 4 or 5 years before we ever even had something to get a return on? It's like people don't see that part. They just see the successes at the end. This is not a thing that comes easy. We haven't even been in business for 5 years.
100%. Yeah, it's fun going through the same thing. I'm gonna invite y'all to a group that I work with. It's a Mentorch Mastermind, very small group right now, and it's growing. But this conversation that we're having, that everyone's gonna be able to see, this is a ongoing conversation because this is amazing. Like what I'm realizing, even though both of our companies are very, very different, the foundational struggles are all the same.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. There you can apply anything from another business to your business.
Mhm.
You can pick and choose what's going to work for you and which you don't think will, but the majority of the foundation everybody can benefit from.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So when you're dealing with the hard times, or you just need to focus yourselves, one of the questions I ask is what mantra or poem or reading passage, what centers you, what do you use to kind of just meditate and reflect on?
Family business or no business, everything that we do is going to benefit them.
Wow.
So if you are the sole provider for your family and stuff like that, you'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you need to be doing what you love. If you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life. And like I told you right when we first got started, there is one thing that I'm doing now that I don't absolutely love, but everything else I do. So I'm just working on cutting that last thing out.
Yeah.
To just become like a full-time entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And then I'll probably never go back to sleep again. What I need to go to sleep for? My dreams are every time I look around.
Yeah. I love it. How about you, Vera?
Never stop reinventing yourself. If you never stop reinventing yourself, you can get through anything. So like I said, we're all about solutions. And so when I saw that quote, I was like, it makes perfect sense to me, because even our hard times, when we fall on hard times, like let's say that one of our vendors doesn't get something done and they drop the ball and now we're looking crazy. It's nothing but us reinventing ourselves. So now we're sitting on the phone with each other. And I'm like, hey, from now on, we got a policy. They got to do X, Y, and Z by this date. We need this in writing. We need this. We started sending everybody. Everybody gets a contract. We don't play no more. It's not a handshake. It's a contract. Everybody gets a contract. So we're always reinventing ourselves. Good things happen to us. Hey, we take note of that. this happened. It was great. We're going to do that. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to mark it down. We're going to say next time we're going to enhance it this way. Bad things happen. We're going to not let that happen no more by doing X, Y, and Z and putting that in place. So never stop reinventing yourself will keep you moving forward, because we don't dwell on it ever. We get mad.
Ever.
Don't get me wrong. Like, we will like go in on each other and be like, I can't believe they did this. And then we get ourselves together.
Mm-hmm.
You put that new professional face back on and you go to work. As women, it's very hard to get men in just business in general to not see you as a weakling, because the first thing they want to do is, oh, come here, you young girls, and let me help you. No, we got this. We need you to do a job, and that's all I need you. I don't need your help with anything else. They always want to treat you like you're stupid. So sometimes we have to remind them, we got here on our own, sir. We don't need you pretending to have sympathy for us. Sometimes even like guys will hit us up and be like, oh, I can help you with your business. Do you want to meet up for lunch? No. If you want to do a conference call, we're more than happy to do that. But you run into all these problems and we just keep moving forward. What can we learn from it and how can we adjust?
Yeah, your mind has to work in solutions. That's it. It's that simple. Like when people come to me with a problem, I'm like, all right, so how are we going to solve it? Like, I don't want to talk about how you got there and all that kind of stuff unless that's going to be beneficial to the solution. I feel like a lot of people turn the problem into the excuse. You have to find a solution to everything. And like she was saying, you know, as far as people not doing what they're supposed to do when they don't care about your business as much as you do, you have to know how to do their jobs too. When you're a small business and you are a startup and you're just getting started, you got to know what everybody does. Because if they miss a deadline, that doesn't make the deadline go away. Yeah. You think we can tell our customers, oh, well, such and such, you know, they just didn't do it in time. You think that they want to hear that? They don't want to hear anything about, except for when they package is going to be on that porch. And that's it.
That's it. Man. Nothing but fire here. No, y'all don't play around, and that's literally what the differentiator is.
We do not. Yeah. That's the trend.
I can tell.
I'm like, you do not want to work for me. I'm telling you, I don't play.
I would work for you. I would work for you. But I'm gonna rise to the occasion, and that's all you're asking people to do.
Exactly.
Why is that a bad thing?
I'm not a babysitter.
You know what I mean?
If I was a babysitter, I would have opened a daycare.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Do a good job. You do your job. You're gonna reap the benefits of it. You reap what you sow. That's a real thing. That's biblical. Like, let's go back to that.
Okay, dropping the Bible facts.
I'm right. I'm right with you. No, I'm right there. We are on the last portion of the show. This is one of my favorite parts. It's pretty quick. You don't have to make it an entire minute. But this is the pass the torch portion. Torch holders, we've arrived at the portion of our show where our guest has 1 minute to pass the torch and leave a legacy. We all know that a mentor is a person who's achieved a level of success that we desire and can effectively guide us to success as well. Based on the success, Vera and Apollonia, that you've achieved at this point in your life, if you could pass the torch and leave a legacy message to your former self or anyone who's in a similar situation, whether it be business or life, what would you say in 1 hot minute? Go.
Who going first?
Apple.
Oh.
Okay. Well, mine is just going to be simple. Keep evolving. Evolution stops and everything will stay the same and everybody will die if you do not keep evolving. So, even as far as your business plan, do not cut corners on yourself. When you do your business plan, you need to plan for technological changes with the world, changes with the environment and all those things. Be aware of what is going on around you so you can roll with the punches and keep moving forward.
For me, I would say use your gifts and your skills that God gave you to service other people. Be the reason that someone else gets inspired by what you're doing. Because if you're not inspiring other people to do well, then what are you doing it for? So if I have to give you anything, if I wanted my legacy to be anything, I would want it to be that people seen us as good people that help people and normal people so that you know that you can do it too. There's nothing extraordinary about us. we've just decided to do extraordinary things. That is the only difference between us and the next person.
That's it. Passing the torch of knowledge. It has been an awesome show. We've had technological difficulties, which we worked through. We had a guest, which they're going to be edited out of the show, but Apple and Vera, they know what happened here, and I might put what happened in the vlog. So check out the Nights and Weekends vlog, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And just incredible story what they're doing, Apple and Vera with Naturally Vera. I'm going to make sure that you have the information to check out their website, check out their social, and support the amazing things they're doing. Buy their product, obviously, right? And just continue.
Yes,
Yes, please.
Continue to watch their journey. This has been another episode of Pass the Torch podcast with Vera and Apollonia Ward, and we are reminding you to seek knowledge and pass the torch. Oh,
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I'm so glad you invited us.
hold on real quick. Okay.